and they'd said to me, well, you're not really the candidate for Accutane. I had hormone tests done, game changer. But the reason I was prescribed the Differin alongside the Doxy is because did my skin clear with doxycycline? Nausea being a big one. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Kasia and I share my skin acne journey online. I share my flare-ups that I've had, the pigmentation that I'm dealing with, scarring that I'm trying to heal. And I know it is a frustrating, stressful thing to deal with. So my videos revolve around that. My channel is pretty much about sharing that experience. So in today's video, I really wanted to go through everything to do with doxycycline. Doxycycline for acne, every single question I get, everything about it, pictures of befores and afters, when I started to see results, the side effects I had, what happened once I stopped the antibiotics. Everything is going to be in this video. Chapters will be down below. Obviously, I am here with makeup on. I do prefer to do these videos barefaced, but we have makeup on today, so we'll deal with it. But I have some clips of my skin today, so you can really see the whole time frame, how much my skin has improved and what it actually looks like now and what doxycycline did for me. So as a quick disclaimer, I am not a doctor, dermatologist, esthetician. I am not here giving medical advice. I'm just sharing my experience and what came with doxycycline for me, my body and my skin. If you want to know more about my doxycycline experience, I can link my playlist, and of course don't forget to subscribe, like this video for engagement, and if you want to become part of the community, then definitely subscribe for more videos. So straight away, what is doxycycline? Doxycycline is an antibiotic and it is often used for infections. This can include chest infections, skin infections and conditions such as rosacea and acne. It's also used for dental infections and even STDs such as chlamydia. So the first question I get is, why was I prescribed doxycycline? I was prescribed doxycycline because my skin was going through quite a mass flare-up. This was literally on the verge of severe acne because the spots and acne that I was suffering were very painful, very inflamed, and just the pain I cannot let you know enough. Like, if you know, you know. But those kind of spots hurt to lay down, it hurts when you're washing your face, and it just really does affect your life in various ways, both physically and also mentally. And it just reached a point where I was doing things topically that just weren't clearing this kind of acne for me. So I sought help, and with that I was prescribed by a doctor doxycycline 100 milligrams. For me personally, I've never had any oral medication for my acne, including birth control, which can be used to also help with hormonal acne. But this was the first ever step I'd taken for that, like oral medication for my acne. And for that reason, I didn't take it easily, lightly. Like, I considered everything because, like I said, side effects and so much more goes into it than just taking a pill and everything is happy go lucky and you don't have to worry about anything. It's also important to note that I was prescribed the doxycycline for 3 months. So I think I had about 100 capsules, and with antibiotics in general, whatever you're using them for, you are really advised to finish your whole course. So every single capsule, use it all up. Even if you see results or you feel better within a certain amount of time, make sure that you use all of it, because it's also about antibiotic resistance, which is a thing and it needs to be avoided. So obviously on that topic, antibiotic resistance is where your body is using antibiotics to help with a problem. So even if it is something like acne or also an infection of some other kind, so a chest infection, but then your body can become resistant to the antibiotics that are helping with the problem. So if you have a problem in the future and you need antibiotics again, if you've used a lot of antibiotics in the past and your body has become resistant to those, it may cause serious issues when you have a serious problem and your body can't work through it because it is resistant to said antibiotics. Which is another reason why acne comes into it, because for me, acne is something I've had for many, many years, and a lot of people might be saying antibiotics for acne, like seriously, there's worse problems where you could be using antibiotics such as an internal infection. But the reality is, when your acne is severe or it is causing harm to you as a person, I think you should definitely be open to antibiotics. But I will say, I do not think that long-term use for antibiotics, whether it's for acne or other infections, is the right answer. Like, it's most likely only going to cause you more harm in the long run. So short courses of doxycycline or antibiotics is advised anyway, but also just as my general like health and well-being, I couldn't be on it for longer. Like, a doctor even did say you could do another 3 months, so 6 months on Doxy, and I was just like, I'm kind of happy with 3 months, which we'll get into why within the video. So just a quick summary, I was prescribed 100 milligrams, 100 capsules for 3 months. I used every single pill, I don't think I missed any, and that is the foundation that we're going on here. So the most common side effects of doxycycline include headaches, nausea being a big one, sickness and vomiting. What else have we got? And skin being sensitive to sunlight. So even within the leaflet, it says to stay out of direct sunlight. It's not something that you want to be taking, and also sunbathing on a beach. No. Then there are also some more serious side effects. For example, if you have an allergy to doxycycline, or if you have certain diarrhea or other things that a fever that are just not meant to happen in general, like that is very, very rare. And of course, with a lot of medication, you have the general side effects that are common and not severe in terms of health problems, but then you have the ones that are obviously very bad for you and you need to get treated immediately. Also, another side note, I obviously have used doxycycline, but I am not here to tell people what you should and shouldn't do or what you should take for your body. I'm just sharing my experience. I have to say that because some people might come on here and be like, doxycycline is the worst thing ever, it did this to me. And absolutely, you have every right to leave a comment if you've had negative experience with doxycycline, to also let people know. But I am obviously sharing my personal experience, and I'm here to help you make your decisions, but I'm not here to tell you what to do at the end of the day. So let's start with actually taking the doxycycline. My antibiotics, the leaflet that came with it said that I could take my tablet with food. There are some instances where if you're treating a certain infection, you therefore need to take it with or without food. So that's important to note. And also, well, before I forget, I haven't specified, but the antibiotic helps with bacteria. So bacteria on the skin, as well as inflammation in terms of acne. It can bring down that inflammatory response. So it really can help with acne. Anyway, going back to how I was using it, I therefore had it with food because it just made sense, because the nausea that can come with the doxycycline is often because you have to have it on an empty stomach for some of the infections or issues that you're dealing with to treat them. Also, doxycycline is often said to be taken without dairy products. So do not take Doxy with dairy products. I personally don't know to what extent, but for example, I wouldn't have my Doxy with a mac and cheese and a yogurt and a milkshake, because that is a whole lot of dairy to then introduce the Doxy. I don't know how it works. I think it is that it kind of counteracts and isn't as effective, but I will put up on the screen so I can do my research and let you guys know the exact message of that. Personally, I would still have it with things that had dairy in it. So for example, if I was having a sandwich that had a sprinkle of cheese, or a chocolate bar after that was obviously had some milk in it, I don't know, I think it's more of the concentration of the dairy, the amount of dairy that you're having. I would definitely stay away from having it with very clearly dairy products like cheesy pastas, and the dairy is the main source of that meal. It also said within my leaflet, and general knowledge for doxycycline is to avoid laying down after taking your tablet, because it can cause heartburn. And I don't know the science behind it, but you need to like let it go to the stomach, let it do its thing before you lay down, and can cause acid reflux. Okay, so into the acne. I was prescribed it for my acne, of course, and it was red, severe, it was painful, everything that you can probably see from the images. With that, I was prescribed Differin. Differin is a retinoid cream, so I had the cream version. You can also get cream or gel. And it is a retinoid that helps to speed up the skin cell turnover, helps to get rid of that dead skin that builds up. Because generally what happens, you have a pore, it fills with oil, your sebum, which might be overproduced due to your hormones or just oily skin problems. And then you also have dead skin that can, you know, if you've got acne and you're dealing with constant acne, generally we have skin that gets built up quite quickly, dead skin, cells kind of sit there longer, and it can clog the pore, which then cause spots. So there are many things that go into that, and it is quite complex. It's not just a simple thing. Obviously, I think you know that if you're watching this video, that acne isn't just something really easy to clear and you never have to deal with again. It can be, like my personal experience, a very long journey of trying various topical creams, lifestyle changes, trying to make your skin work normally, because essentially by having acne, your skin is abnormal. It's not doing what it should be doing. So I personally had used Differin before, and I've also used other retinoids. So I'm not really going to focus about that in this video, but if you want to know more about those kind of retinoids and what they do for the skin, I have many videos, and I can also link some great dermatologists down below if you really want to understand a scientific aspect rather than just someone's experience too. But the reason I was prescribed the Differin alongside the Doxy is because yes, you're taking something internally, but you also need something that is going to maintain the skin once you come off the antibiotics. And I think it's very rare to just be prescribed antibiotics for acne without something else to help it. It's such a strong team. So whilst using Doxy, I'd use Differin pretty much every single day, give or take. I also incorporated benzoyl peroxide where I could, because I also know benzoyl peroxide helps with acne bacteria and killing that bacteria to help the skin. But I would say if you're a newbie to all of this, definitely just stick to what you're prescribed. Another reason Differin was also very helpful is because it helped with the pigmentation. So once Doxy had helped to get my acne under control, from there on out, it can't do anything about pigmentation. That is, whether it's deep or superficial, Doxy is there more to help with the inflammation and bacteria and therefore reducing acne, but it can't help with that pigmentation that comes with those spots. Did my skin clear with doxycycline? 100%, my skin cleared with Doxy. I was on it for 3 months, but I did not see results until 2 months in. So that is a good 8 weeks until I really started to see it actually shifting my skin and like the pimples actually disappearing. However, again, this would differ depending whether your acne is mild or severe, moderate, how long it might take for you to see results. But personally, 2 months, the last month, I really saw my skin. It got a lot smoother in the sense that I could run my fingers over it and it would be smooth. There was less texture, less bumps, less visible spots. However, I was still left with the pigmentation. So in terms of clarity, you might not see it as obvious, but it was so much clearer in terms of the actual bumps and textures were reduced, and acne, I was not getting those massive flare-ups again. When I'd finished my round of doxycycline, I still had some spots here and there, and obviously the pigmentation that I spoke about. Personally, what I did for the pigmentation was Differin, because Differin is there to help speed up the skin cell turnover and give you fresher, newer skin quicker. Along with that, I also did microneedling. Talking about microneedling on the internet is dangerous, so I'm just gonna say that yes, I did some sessions at home, but I'm not a complete newbie to it, and I would always recommend, even to my friends, go and get it done professionally. Pay that money if you can, but I know it's a struggle, but microneedling is insane. It can transform your skin, and that is what really helped with the pigmentation. That, Differin, and the Doxy, game changer, absolute game changer. There's nothing more I can say about that. It just helped with the pigmentation so much. But just a quick summary, microneedling basically helps the skin to repair itself. So it causes controlled wounds to the skin that your body then responds to by creating more collagen, bringing all the nutrients and goodness to the surface of the skin to help renew itself. And I find it amazing, I really do. It takes about 4 weeks to see results, but even then there's an instant, I don't know if it's a bit of a placebo as well, but there's an instant after effect of, wow, my skin just looks so much better. But there is a stage of it being red and angry, especially if you've really done a good microneedling session. So yeah, and it's not for the faint-hearted. You may bleed, it may be painful. In clinics, they definitely numb the face to help with the pain, but it generally feels like a really bad sunburn. So in terms of side effects for myself, I literally experienced next to nothing, which I don't know if it's rare or if I'm lucky or whatever, but I honestly did not have any sickness. I did not have any nausea, pretty much no headaches, nothing I can say to you, I took Doxy and this happened. The one thing that did, I didn't even mention in my Doxy and Differin video because I had no evidence to back it up, so it just kind of felt like I was just saying something for the sake of saying it, but I will say it in this video because it is all about Doxy. Personally, I found myself I was a little bit more anxious when taking Doxy, and that absolutely could have been a coincidence of just whatever's going on with me at that time, but I do think there is some kind of link between Doxy and anxiety. I'm really not sure. I would have to actually research it, but it's not in any of the NHS like web pages where they explain about doxycycline. It's not in the leaflet with side effects, anything about anxiety, so I really can't say, but I was just more of an anxious person during that period of taking doxycycline, and I know that because I know myself. Anyway, back to Doxy and skin. So the skin really did clear, and I was prescribed those 3 months, which I did. I then went to my doctor I was with a different doctor also, I should say. These are two separate doctors. One prescribed me the 3 months. Then I went to another doctor and I was discussing accutane actually with them and maybe going down that route. But because, up until this point, by the way, like all along, like months in advance, I'd been trying to get doctor's appointments to talk about my skin. I had hormone tests done to just understand, why is my skin acting like this? Is there any internal things that are going on that might be contributing to acne? But all in this time, I went to Boots Online Doctor. So that's basically like a pharmacy where you can just send pictures and get a prescription from a doctor. Because like I said, getting an actual GP appointment and everything is a whole process. So by the time I'd actually had that appointment, they'd seen that I'd done the 3 months of Doxy, and they'd said to me, well, you're not really the candidate for accutane because the antibiotics have clearly worked for your skin, which they had. They had improved my skin. My skin was actually reacting to the Doxy, whereas a lot of people that go for accutane have tried everything and antibiotics did nothing for their skin. So accutane is therefore valid. It is valid for them to go on it. I mean, I still could, but through the NHS getting it for free, you kind of need to be like desperate for it. And having just had those results with doxycycline didn't really help my case. But anyway, that was a point where I was considering accutane. I am no longer considering it. At this current point, who knows what happens in life, but I'm really loving my skin at the moment and it is making progress, and the fact that I had those results is good enough for me. I just hope that it continues to clear and over time acne genuinely becomes a thing of the past. Spots and mini breakouts I can deal with, but actual acne and flare-ups to become a thing of the past would be such a weight off my shoulder. Another reason that I didn't want to continue with the doxycycline was obviously for antibiotic resistance. For me, with the results I'd seen with my skin, I didn't feel it was necessary to do another 3 months. And like I said, if you're taking those antibiotics, you have to do the whole course. Also with antibiotics, I was taking these probiotics. Actually, I don't even know if I was taking a specific brand. I had some from Holland & Barrett, I think, and they were like, I think they were 50 billion as well, maybe 50 million, I can't remember. But they were just probiotics to help with the gut microbiome, because essentially antibiotics go into your body, your gut, and they kind of wipe out good bacteria, bad bacteria, both, any kind of bacteria. So you're losing the good as well as the bad. So similarly on the skin. So yeah, I really tried to keep up with the probiotics, and I don't know if that helped. I can't say to what extent, but in terms of side effects or results, I don't know. But it's worth just noting that probiotics were a part of my whole journey, still are, and also were prior, because acne and the guts, there is a link, but I feel like it's still being investigated, it's still being understood, and to what extent, and there's so many variables and things that go into it. But it's worth noting that yes, probiotics is something I took to just hopefully help me, and maybe they did, maybe they didn't. My personal belief is that if the antibiotics are wiping out that microbiome, it's good to try and put something back in, the good bacteria, to try and get that balance, as well as through food, of course. Fruit and vegetables and everything is also a great place to start. So the biggest question I get, which I also wanted to know when I was starting Doxy, once I stop the doxycycline, will I go back to breaking out how I was? Will I continue to break out? Like, now that's gone, is my skin gonna freak out, be worse than before, or as bad as before? This, again, will differ for everybody. Also, where Differin comes in again, because the Adapalene is gonna help keep my skin in check. So by the time I'd come off my antibiotics, I had been on Adapalene for a good 3 months. 3 months with Differin or Adapalene, I'm using them interchangeably because Differin is the brand, Adapalene is the actual retinoid. So 3 months on Adapalene is when you are going to see results. If you were just using that alone, you need a good 12 weeks, 3 months, to see the results in your skin, to see the acne calming down, to see less acne coming up. It takes that amount of time. So by then, my skin was so much clearer and I was so happy. In that video, you are literally seeing my skin at the end of that 3 month course, maybe a month later as well. It had a couple of spots, but my skin has not. Even now, I am, how many months am I post-Doxy? I am now 4 months post-Doxy. I continue to use my Differin throughout, so I've been using the Differin for 7 months. And my skin has not gone back to that level. I have not had a flare up even close to what I had in terms of inflammation mainly. Also that amount across the cheeks. Yes, even my most hormonal breakouts where I've had various spots because it's my time of the month have not been as severe, as painful, as deep. So for that I am grateful. So grateful. The Differin has also helped to heal that pigmentation that I've had. It's still working, it's still a work in progress. I am not seeking perfection, I am just seeking progress right now, and I am so happy with the results that I have got. So no, my skin has not gone back to how it was. It has not done a 360, I think it would have to do, all the way back around, 180. It's not gone back to how it was, so I'm super grateful, but I do know that some people's experience is completely different. Some people have come off the Doxy and their skin just went straight back to how it was. But again, lifestyle and just different skin is going to give you different results. Do I still break out? Yes, I still get breakouts, especially around my time of the month. They are unavoidable. Like we see this, right? I have makeup on, but yes, I get the spots. This one was quite deep, to be fair. Some more than others. It varies. It fluctuates with my hormones, but like I said, I can deal with that compared to the mass breakouts that really affected my confidence and just how I felt about myself. I'm not here for that. So what did Doxy do for me in the long run? In the long run, it definitely calmed down my skin. While I was on Doxy, it took down that inflammation. Like I said, 2 months to 3 months was when I actually saw results. So if you just started and you're like 6 weeks in, you're like, nothing's happening, I fully get it. I was there like, is this even doing anything? But I eventually started to see those results. It took down the inflammation. In terms of acne bacteria, I think it's actually more used for the inflammation and helping fight that, but it does also help fight acne causing bacteria. So that's always good to know. I would say my skin improved quickly compared to if I was using something topical. I can say that because I've used many things topical, but this really did do something within the last month. It really did change my skin, and obviously that's because it's been working the whole time, slowly building up, getting that dosage into your system. But it was the last month where my skin was really like, okay, this is clearing. The pigmentation was obviously still an issue, and microneedling and Differin is what helped me personally. I would really say you need to have a maintenance plan in place, because if you're going to use the Doxy to help with your acne and inflammation and really get that under control, what are you then going to do when you're off the Doxy? What are you then going to do with the pigmentation that you might be left with to then continue your skin journey and, you know, getting the best skin that you can after the DOXYCYCLINE? So that pretty much concludes my whole DOXYCYCLINE journey. I have really just tried to say everything as simple as I could to really let you guys know, as a story, this is what happened. The Doxy is the foundation of that clearer skin. Doxy helped to bring down the inflammation and acne occurrence. Differin helped to prevent further acne breakouts like that from happening. And then microneedling helped to heal the skin and deal with that pigmentation. That is the things that help massively. I would then put, side note, benzoyl peroxide alongside it. Helped me personally, but I know not everybody's going to enjoy benzoyl peroxide. It can also be very drying. It can also bleach your clothes, and it doesn't need to be in the top 3, but those are my top 3, and it transformed my skin. And even now I'm going back to microneedling at the end of this month, so slowly helping to heal my skin more, and I'm continuing to use Differin, but I am currently on a mini break, like a week or so from Differin, so that I can do some microneedling and get into that. But like I said, I'm apprehensive about sharing microneedling online because I really shouldn't be doing it at home, and I don't necessarily promote it, but I do admit to doing it because I'm a grown adult, and yes, if I want to do that to my skin, then I will. Thank you so much for watching, guys. If you want to become part of my community, please don't forget to subscribe down below, watch more Doxy videos and more skincare videos from me, as well as discussions about beauty standards and what is and isn't acceptable, like glass skin, for example. I did a video on that. We're chasing something that doesn't necessarily exist, so, you know, we want to have serious discussions and actually explore what it means to be perfect. Really hope to see you in my next video, and thanks for watching. Bye.